All right, guys, we are live on the Independent Investor Channel live stream Friday nights, fast to 60 minutes on YouTube. This is the time when I get to come and I get to focus on investing. I was just talking to my good friend. He popped into the studio, which I'd love to invite everybody here. I run an open forum here, guys. Okay. There's nothing really all that special about what I do, except for bringing people together. That's special. No doubt about that. But I was just talking to Eric Weber, who's in the gallery here tonight. Welcome to you, Eric. Good shout out to you and my fellow compadres that are keeping their minds busy by actually doing real work. I think this is somewhat of a wake up call for those people who thought that they were just going to use the stock market as their fire and retire early type of strategy. Um, there's no shortcut to working hard, no doubt about it. And if your sole focus is on what's going on right now, you're probably having a hard time wading through all the propaganda because I'm hard pressed to find any good information out there with regard to anything positive. It's as if we've moved into a third world country now. Just last year, it was all fame and fortune. And selling that propaganda on either side of the fence is what the whole intent is. It's to get you moving in one direction. The market sold off today, exacerbated selling into the close there, almost reach 1,000 down. And portfolios like mine suffer, just like all the other long investors who understand that the market is a game that's played on the long field, not the short. You want to try to make up your mind about what you want to do about stock market investing based on what the market provided you today in way of information. Good luck. Good luck. Like I said, I'm intimately monitoring markets, but I flip my hat. And I flip my hat during these times, and I've had the hat flipped for many, many months now. I went back on the charts, looked at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. We are off 10% year over year right now. Nasdaq's a little bit more on the downside there, approaching 15% down, and the S&P 6-7% down. Anyway, nothing too crazy. Approaching correction territory for you guys that are new to this. Congratulations, you're getting a hell of a lesson. The learnings that you'll get out of this are priceless. They really are. I won't apologize. No way. No way. What's the alternative to not be an investor? How'd that work out for you before? There was a reason why you transitioned and went to financial markets to seek out the ability to grow wealth through that conduit. If you have another way of growing wealth that is legal, I'd like to hear it. Okay, I know quite a few things that you can do to keep your mind occupied. Few things that you can do to keep yourself busy. I was in the gym. I've got a streak of 0500s in the gym going, stretching back 3 weeks now. I haven't missed a day. I think I'm going on almost 21 days straight at 0500. I'm losing weight. I feel great. Everything is wonderful. We are scheduled here for our looming move in June. It'll be nice to segue the channel up to the root of the Independent Investor channel, which is and always will be with New York City. So it'll be a pleasure to reconvene from New York City. I have a lot planned for the channel. I just made an investment today. I did buy a little bit of the market today. While I've got 44 patrons in the group here, the early bird gets the worm. I'll tell you that I went ahead and added the slice into the dividend portfolio. It rounded those holdings up to 100. I've been doing due diligence for the last couple of weeks. I've already shared this with my Viper group, some new patrons to the Viper group just this week, but I shared my buys there, which was led off by AMT. And cold storage, as well as Stag Industrial, WP Carey, a couple others. I actually bought 9 REITs and I filled out that real estate section of that dividend portfolio, which rounds out that portfolio with all of the 11 sectors rather than just the 10 that I had and I had been sharing with you guys so openly. But definitely a highlight over the last couple of years. It's one of those things that I came into Virginia and did not have those smaller accounts. I didn't even do business with M1 Finance. And it's just one of the many things that I take stock on, no pun intended, not only during times like these. You don't have to, brain F yourself into not paying attention that the market sucks. I mean, it sucks, but I typically get so ahead of myself sometimes that it helps for me to recollect on where we've been, where we are going, why we are doing what we're doing in the present time, and some of those things that, quite honestly, have transpired over the last couple of years. Years we talk about them tongue in cheek and we throw it out there, but a year is a lot of time. And when you track together a couple of years, 2, 3 years, I've been here for 4 years. It's gone by so fast. It seems like, but when you look at some of the marked progress that we've had, not only with the channel, but with growing the community. And, I don't know where our subscriber count was when I got here 3, 4 years ago. I don't know. But staring down, we just transitioned over the 28,000 mark. So thank you very much to all the devout subscribers to the Independent Investor channel. I salute you. Absolutely. Welcome everybody to the group. It's awesome to have you. But the investment that was nice to be made today was in some new equipment for the channel. I'll be using the green screen forum like you see here now to do some of my content, especially some of the live streams, but to change it up a little bit, I'm going to go back to my old format. I actually have some exciting sponsorships coming up, not in way of video coverage and profiling of stock, but actually with artisans who make a version of the little mule. You guys remember this? It's an artisan that actually does this rendition in bronze. And he hails from the Netherlands, and he has been gracious enough to partner with the Independent Investor channel, and we are going to promote his Etsy site. I have a special affinity for the artisans out there who do that as either a primary or a side hustle. He does a fabulous job, and the rendering is absolutely fabulous. That was mailed out today. So one of many things that have developed on the channel here. We're rolling out uh, HS GovTech, which has just changed its name from Health Space. We're going to be engaged in a profiling campaign there. Heard a bit of bad news today in that because of the market volatility, my opportunity to be profiling and doing some of the sponsorship videos has rolled off for the short term, which was pretty lucrative for me. So those additional contracts that have come in have actually really helped me. And what we're thankful for all the blessings that we have, and certainly a bridge to perhaps maybe better times in financial markets, and maybe even better times on the independent investor. Who knows? We've been stalled out on our subscriber growth for a while. I'm totally fine with that. I would not trade the good people that I have in this community, like this one right here. I got to get my opposite finger, Becky. Harry, all right. Absolutely phenomenal people that make up this group. And, it's always incumbent upon me. I've been coming out with some fairly sporadic content, some content that I was very proud of, some of the things that you want to shy away from, did some portfolio reviews, and I'll start to get into more frequent content when the time makes itself available to me. But the project doesn't go anywhere. And this is the mainstay on the channel. This is the backbone of the channel. This is my ability to come in for 60 minutes and talk about my absolute favorite topic. And you think, well, it's not my favorite right now. This sucks. Me, I'm happy. Looking at markets like this that I felt should have rolled off a long time ago are now rolling off. And I think it's a bullish sign. The lower that it goes, the markets couldn't have absorbed manufactured low interest rates forever. They were it was really eased quantitative easing for a long time, and I think it baked in a lot of soft spots in the market, and those are being exploited and ironed out right now. Those will be exacerbated to the downside here, just like anything. But I don't think there's ever been a better time to be an investor. I mean, we've watched the Nasdaq blow up for the last 2 3 years, and if you've ever wanted to take a shot at the TQQQ, which is an alt strategy for the 3x on the triple Qs, you could do that. But the Nasdaq has rolled off a modest 15% if you wanted to take a stab there. Hell, I bought VOO for the first time today in a long time. It had really rolled off. So I bought a couple shares, nothing crazy, along with my buys this morning in M1 Finance, picking my spots. You can kind of see here the holistic application, seeking out, sponsorship opportunities on the channel, making those investments back into the channel. It's going to be a heck of an enjoyment. I'm improving everything, even the mic, because as you evolve as a content creator, you become a little bit more scrutinizing on the product that you roll forward, and I don't want any distractions to come between me and you and the message that exists in between, because it's critical. We cannot have distractions. We can't. If you want to enter into mainstream media, if you want to enter into social media, you'll find all the distraction you could ever want. I take heat for Twitter. That's no problem. I'm using Twitter. I'm abusing Twitter to my benefit, and that's no problem. If you want the real talk, you can come and enjoy the Independent Investor Channel live stream and get a very good insight as to where I come from, why I do what I do, what type of perspective that I'm rolling with. And it's multi-tier perspective here, guys, right? I've taken on some investments that I would have never, ever dreamed of taking on 3 4 years ago, but that's just where I am in this strategy. The two M1 finance accounts that I'm going to roll out to you guys tonight probably show you the damage. I think it's 460, something like that. So we've rolled off 30,000 or so from where it had peaked a few months ago. 460, 490. It is what it is. It's one of those things to where I'm really locked in and focused in on getting healthier in my life, wrapping up my business here with regard to my profession. So I'm very focused in, and I'm trying to get a head start on what I'm going to step into in. So it's super important for you guys to take that lesson away from what I'm talking about. And if I was going to suggest that a lot of people really get way too caught up in financial markets from day to day, they really do. I could be partially guilty of this. And I only mentioned it to self scrutinize and maybe allow you guys for some time of self reflection. Did I get too over levered going into this downturn? If it is a prolonged downturn, am I prepared for that? Am I learning from what's going on right now from the volatility in financial markets? There's always another side to the coin. And I think where you start to get into trouble is where you start to buy into what everybody else would have you believe about what you should be doing with your money. And I just responded, I offered a Twitter today. I said, doing nothing is an underutilized weapon in the stock market. It really is. Doing nothing. I mean, right now, I told my Viper group today, it's very simple. I've taken the sell option off the table. I have not sold stock for over 6 months. I have not sold a thing. It's not even in my repertoire right now. Now, we may put that hat on at some undetermined time in the future, that of which I will disclose to you guys. But for the meantime, why? I've built these positions over time. And yes, the portfolio value has come off. But here's the funny thing: portfolio value as a singular number really doesn't speak to the depth and breadth of a well laid portfolio that's been built over time. What I mean by that is, if I have, let's say, $3,000 in a stock, okay, and it goes down to 2,500, but I've owned that stock for 5 years and I've built it up to that 3,000 position. People are so caught up in the 500 of book losses that they don't actually focus in on the fact that they only have $1,672 devoted to building up that position over time. So it's just digressed back a little bit. And that example carries over and duplicates itself many, many times over in the portfolio, whether or not you're an ETF holder, whether or not you've at some point in the past taken and leveraged house capital. You've got a little bonus at work where you just as well might have just taken that money and just blew it on all the stuff that I talk about all the time that just consumes your money anyway. And you didn't. You made a decision to put that money into financial markets, and it did really, really well for a while. And now, because it's rolling off a little bit, you fail to acknowledge that the amount of buildup to that amount is really where the pedigree of being a good steward of your money and understanding the perspective over your money, in that it's a lion's share of money, and looking at it as it just kind of digresses a little bit like a glacier. It moves really, really slow. It all comes back at the same time. But there are pockets, and if you're really honest with yourself, honestly, I got my newest Viper Group member in the house here. He's back actually for a second go. John, it's great to have you back, my friend. Let me kick over to YouTube here. I gotta make sure. Let's see There he is. Cool, cool. Fantastic. Just had to make sure Mr. John had a wrench, man. It's great to converse with you, man. He hits me up. He's like the early bird that gets the worm, man. He's up like me in the morning. I fired over a picture of him in the gym the other day, and it was like, yeah, I start my day pretty soon too. But man, I feel so good, man. Everything is great. It's given me a new sense of renewed motivation, that's for sure, with the developments in my specific profession. You guys have to understand, I have 17 years on this particular profession. I had close to 7, 8 years into my commercial fishing thing, and I was at an impasse with that too: either buy a boat or become a lifetime crew member, which will eventually break your body down anyway. But the opportunity for me to take on this prestigious position is humbling. It's motivating. It's given me a renewed sense of taking stock in everything that we have, and I just look at this as just a temporary setback, I guess, for a lack of better terms. And I think maybe some of you guys, I want you to leave your comments in the thread here. I see that there's a hell of a gallery in here tonight, but I don't see that if we creep over this as a correction for the first half of the year going into July, that we couldn't have kind of a bounce back at the end of the year. I don't really know. I don't spend a lot of my time forecasting that stuff. I really don't. I'm interested in where markets have been to a certain extent, looking at it from a technical perspective. And I adjust accordingly based on those big numbers of 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%. Maybe. I don't think we're going there. I don't. I think there's a lot of things going on right now, none of which are as big as what we've been through over the last 2 years with the global pandemic, really with a lot of what ifs. That people didn't know what was going on. I was forecasting that, we would eventually come out of it. It's just my perspective. I could have been dead wrong. But that really put a jar on markets, and markets doubled from those March 2020 lows at 18.4. Market topped out last year at about 36.9, which was almost exactly to the T, 100% from the pandemic low to the all-time high that was met just about a year ago. So we're looking at about a 12 months here. I started to get a hair on the back of my neck standing up about 6 months ago, around November, end of 2021, which gave me some insight to say that it just didn't really feel right. I could have been dead wrong. It turned out that it's looking like I've been right. You look at the charts, it's been a prolonged pressure on the markets. I don't really remember the last 2 weeks. I've had two up days, two, mind you, and they've been big up days. So the swings are just astronomical. I mean, today was a down 10,000 day for me. So, nothing really that enjoyable, to be honest with you. Other than that, I had a hell of a day, and you know, Things could be worse. I have a Yeti with my logo on it. Things could be worse, I guess. You guys are all part of this. Absolutely. You really are. And hopefully you can gain a little bit of motivation and understanding that this gig has to be a whole heck of a lot more than just what's in the acute. It really does. Um, I've been through this many, many times. They all have the same feeling about it. They all have the same amount of maybe pressure that we put on ourselves. Nobody likes to lose money, guys. I'm not telling you that that is what you need to do. You don't need to look at this and be happy about it. Uh, be, ups- be not happy. Be upset if that's what you need to do. Don't let it affect your decision making. Okay. Learn from it, come out of it tougher. This will forge you in fire. There's no doubt about that. So just please understand that there is a bigger picture here. And anytime you make your decisions based on what has happened historically, you usually end up getting burned. When you keep your eye to the horizon and make sure that you're understanding of the fact that at some point down the line, we will probably be in a better place, every darn one of us, if we do what's right. And doing what's right most of the time is doing nothing at all with regard to the stock market. Focus in on those things that are going to make your life that much more fulfilling. Work on the longevity piece. If you need to quit a vice, do it. If you need to work harder at your job, if you feel like you have been getting along based on hope and you know, find something to fill your time. What I'm finding out is there's an awful lot of time in the day to be filled with productive activities. And it's quite inspiring to me. I don't spend a lot of my time manifesting over social media. I was just telling Eric Weaver behind the scenes, I'm taking a lot of guff right now through social media on a lot of things specifically highly on. I'm not really sure why people think that maybe it makes them feel good. That's great. I hope that you do feel good by coming on and suggesting. Maybe I don't know that I don't know what you're suggesting. I really don't know. I made the decision. It's my portfolio. I can do what I want, just like you can as well. But interesting perspectives and different strokes for different folks. And I think if you understood the holistic picture like me, in that I have other things going for myself that help not give me an opportunity to take uncalculated risk, right? It doesn't give me the right to be careless. What it does is it allows me to acknowledge that I can take a shot. And good on those people who are willing to put a little risk on the table. Good on those people who are willing to take a strategic shot. I know that if you took 1,000 people and put them on the exact same independent investor project, that 999 of them would probably fail. They would have already quit this project. And this, in and of itself, provides an interesting lesson in that those things in life that are worth pursuing are going to require you to have to work at them. In other words, I just find it interesting how perhaps maybe people have very, very shallow expectations of what the stock market is going to do for them, it is going to render for them. They know exactly the time frame it's going to render said expectations, all made up in your mind. It doesn't matter until it happens in reality, right? But to have fair expectations about this thing, look, I'm going to sum it up for you very, very simple as far as I'm concerned. I will not go through this life and not invest. I will not. I'm living to understand that at some point down the line, I will be at a decision point. For me, it's called my target date. My target date is right around the time of my Roth IRA eligibility for withdraw. Now, will I? I don't know. I'll probably give it to my kids, to be honest with you. But at least to wag out a date sometime in the future to put yourself to a decision point. Now, imagine you're in my shoes. Some of you folks are already there, like Becky, with her well earned retirement. I'm so proud of you because you're such an awesome person. This is kind of what we're striving to, the right to walk away. This is a luxury. And I always tell people when they do walk away from their profession that I would hope nothing more than you walk away on your own accord, right? And that's just a beautiful thing. We are ready to, thanks to your knowledge. Oh yeah, no, I wish we had a little more conducive markets right now. But it's interesting when we look at the power of those portfolios, the power of those portfolios to sustain to the downside and then to grow in conducive markets, which we are not in one right now. We're in hell. So, I don't I don't know. Have one of these, man. Have a little fun with me tonight, guys. It's all good. No reason to fret, man. Another thing about my life now at 43 years old, man, when I reach that impasse, I'm not going to live my life pissed off. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to live my life wondering about this and that. Not going to live my life wishy washy. Not going to live my life with regret. I'm not going to live my life asking what could have been. I'm not going to live my life and at some point reflect back and say, man, I really wish I would have taken more chances. You know, I went on and I scrutinized this Ryan with the Independent Investor channel, and where did that get me? Maybe I was scrutinizing him for taking a chance, and maybe I failed to identify my own deficiency in potentially putting myself out there a little bit for the chance of something better in this life. And that's what it is right there, guys. The perspective to understand, man, that life is a gift. Okay, and the market's down 1,000 points. What does it mean? That's a rhetorical question that I'll throw out there, and I'll be back with you in just a moment. Love talking about financial markets, man. I love it. I just burned 26 minutes of my live stream, so I've got to speed it up a little bit. I got to throw the goods at you. I have no script tonight. I speak from the heart. That's usually when I deliver my very best product. There's no doubt about it. I think we're a cut above in this community. I really do. I think people can look at these markets objectively. I don't think there's a lot of Friday freak out going on from week to week. It is what it is. I have some cash on the side. What does that mean? Does it provide a little bit of buffer to market volatility? Yeah, I took a $2,000 bill today out of my 43, 45,000 of cash and put a little slice to work in M1 Finance. That was the strategic area that I had earmarked for weeks, and I've been very, very patient on these markets. There's no doubt about it. The remainder sits there. I've been very, very patient. The market will probably turn. I'm a very, very big advocate for having some cash on the side, no matter what the financial markets do, whatever it is they dole out. Makes things a little bit easier when this thing kicks up. My project means a lot to me. There's no doubt about it. It would just tickle me pink to see this thing really do something special. It really would. It would really be a culmination of the fine people that represent this community that have a very, very high standard. There's a lot of great people, social workers, electricians, tradespeople. There are a lot of multi-million dollar portfolios in my group. Why? Because they can sit across from me and I don't patronize people. I give you what I feel like is the real talk in financial markets, something a little bit more neutral. I don't necessarily have agenda outside that. If you want to subscribe to my message, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I mean, that's about the only agenda that costs you nothing. If you do want to opt for the services of maybe sitting across, I've provided those based on pressure that I've received over 5 years in the Independent Investor channel to provide the independentinvestorgroup.com option. And the Viper group, I think they like it a lot. It's a cool, cool thing. I engage with them every single day. I drop audio casts in there, give them a pulse of the market, let them know what's going on from my perspective. It's just an opinion. That's all. But I think retail investors need to be open with having a little bit more of an open dialogue about, I don't know, things that are important. And financial markets are important as long as we're talking about important things. Okay. Um, Talking about Amazon going to zero, I don't know. I disagree. I think Amazon's a buy here. I think they had historically. We kind of knew this was going on with Amazon. This was historically their weak quarter, but I thought the Rivian write-off of, I think it was a $7 billion write-off, something crazy with regard to Rivian, and Amazon's not going anywhere. Amazon Web Services was up 18.5%, I believe, which was supposed to actually underperform. That was the performing entity within the mega suite of businesses that is Amazon. And I don't know. Facebook was a golden example of just missing a little bit on the bottom line last quarter. They had a great quarter this quarter, and now the stock is catching up. So it's the wishy-washy, and I don't know what's contributing to it. I can only presume that it is a combination of algorithmic trading, machine trading on certain things, news injects that come in, and then of course traders that go in and want to just buy the market from minute to minute. And that's not a philosophy that I abide by. Like I said, I have not sold markets in a long, long time, guys. I'm just holding. I've set my portfolio on a plane because it's taken me months and months to build those positions up over time. And we're going to live to fight another day on a better day. I'm not going to make my decisions based on what's going on now in these markets. It's just not going to happen. Not going to do it. Um, Ryan Lamb said, Hyliion has ruined my life. I'm not really sure if you can provide a little more context around that. I'm not really sure how buying a stock and being down on a position has ruined your life, unless you are over levered. I talk to a lot of people, and I don't mean to sound brash, but I have an awful big position in Hyliion Holdings. A lot of the money that I leveraged into Hyliion was a combination of a lot of swing trading profit, some house money that I've built up, and I wasn't buying in the 50s. I wasn't buying in the 40s, nor was I buying in the 30s. Okay. My cost average is down to $8 a share. Okay. And with what's going on right now, what is the difference between 10 and 5 and 3 and 2? Really nothing. And if you're looking at a company like Hyliion, this is really just the fallacy, is that if you read my Twitter feed, you would think I'm pissed off. I'm not. I'm not. I think Hyliion could do more in way of outreach and letting shareholders know. And I think it's a sign that times are lean right now. That's just, if they had news, I think they would share it. And I don't think they do. I really don't. But I'm not really sure I understand this, because the basis that the stock somehow is going to remain low based on past performance is a fallacy. Okay. Where it goes into the future, neither you nor me nor any but of the biggest bulls or the biggest bears on this company know what is going to transpire, especially with the lean roadmap that has been posed by Hyliion Holdings and is supposed to transpire over the coming years. Okay. The world needs this solution. Whether or not they're going to be able to execute on this plan, whether or not they're going to be able to execute before, on target, or delayed again, right, is yet to be seen. But to look at it again on the acute and say, because it's down, I can somehow feel bad. People are using the same explanation about Tesla, where they used to receive all the same scrutiny before. Nobody can scrutinize Tesla right now because seemingly it cannot go down. And people are using that judgment of the company based on the action in the stock. It's the exact reverse philosophy and application. But if you truly mean this, that's an awful bold statement to come onto a live stream and drop. I think that's unfortunate, because financial markets have got to be kept in a box. It really is. And I tell you what, there's people around this world who have a hell of a lot more problems than me and you, being down on a position. Guys, this is not my first time I've been down on a position. I don't enter into a stock just because I have unfair expectations of said stock going up. Now, Do I have a fairly good understanding of what to expect if I enter into a play like Johnson and Johnson that's been around since 1895? Probably. Hyliion has been around since 2019. Some would argue in the private markets a few years before that, but it is a brand new company. It's just that simple. If you do not have that perspective, and it did not turn out the way that you wanted it to turn out, with being pre-revenue when you bought it and just realizing its first revenue, then my friend, that is on you, just like my decision is on me. All is fair in love and war, and I hate to be forward like that. I hate to give you the reality, but that in fact is the reality. But you know, you will learn. Okay, you will learn. This is significantly less painful than the first time I lost on a penny stock that I had no basis at all to buy. It was, I'm going to buy it and I'm going to trade stock the rest of my life. And this is incredible. If I buy this penny stock for 0.000006 cents, right, and it just goes to $1 a share, I'll be a millionaire. That was the rationale that I used, and I lost all of it. 3,000 bucks gone. It was gone. Went to the stock gods, gone, right? Those are the things that, who's to blame there? Is it others? Is it me? Blame me, I guess, if that makes you feel better. I got guys blaming me every single week. I still persevere. Good on me for still coming on and providing that highly on content. I think it's an amazing product. I think they're growing. They got 200 employees. I think the management's phenomenal, and I think the board of directors is phenomenal. I think the product is phenomenal. I think there's a need on behalf of the industry, and if people are whining and complaining as to why they haven't bagged Amazon or Walmart at this point, wake up. They don't have the ability to sell those products yet. They just don't. And the question is, are they going to have that ability in a year, 2 years down the line? That's a rhetorical question that neither me nor anybody out there, no matter how convincing they seem, or how scathing or how rude or how, persistent they can be on their opinion, nobody knows. Nobody knows. And that's the refreshing part about my message, is that I just kind of say, it is what it is at this particular juncture. Like I said, I've averaged my costs down to where I feel comfortable, and that's just good enough. It's good enough in the short term. It's just that simple. Do I see things changing next week? No. Do I see things changing with earnings? No. No, I don't. My expectations are the same going into this earnings as the same as they were for the last earnings. Horrible. My expectations are very low. They're very dismal. If I knew what it is that I knew now, would I have invested in the company before? No, I wouldn't have, because it's been an atrocious market to step into right here. If you haven't paid attention, guys, all small caps are getting crushed. My small cap ETF is down 21% right now, just over the last few months. Okay. Every single speculative growth, anything that came to public markets via the SPAC process, is getting crushed. Okay. Anything with any type of growth characteristic, whether it be large cap growth, they are rolling off big time. You go right down the line, man. Netflix, crushed. Salesforce.com, crushed. All of them getting crushed. Amazon, down 14%. Biggest down day since 2008, 2009, right? Today, biggest down day in Amazon. And, are those warranted? Are they justified? Are those companies that you want to own? Google, for example, right? Rolling off because Amazon rolls off. There is some correlation to be speaking about, guys. And when you look at the market and everything is selling off, those are the times when you might want to, like, say, hey, listen, if I can buy strategically in the markets into the ETFs, now is probably a good time to do it. And if there's some individual names that you would be looking at, like right now, highly on at just over $3 a share is a buy here. It's just that simple. And it will take the stock going up, and everybody will jump on that bandwagon a year, 2, 3 down the line, and they'll be like, "See, I told you so. It's highly on a buy right here at 15, and it's even more of a buy at 25, and it's even more of a buy at 32.50." And you see that reverse application that I think retail investors are sick. It's like they forgot to like read buy low and sell high. They forgot to read that, or they read it in reverse, or they all have dyslexia and they all read it wrong. It's just, I don't understand the rationale. Buy Tesla here. The time to buy Tesla was 8 years ago, 7 years ago. All right. Let it go. You want to buy it now? Go ahead. Be my guest. It's extremely overvalued here, and I just do not think that the market has enough to absorb what it is that I think is an overstated demand on the Tesla product. I see them driving around. That's great. I live in a very affluent area here in deep Chesapeake here in Virginia. A lot of money here, but I don't think Teslas are being sold in the country. I don't. I go out on a limb where charging stations may be available, but perceived to not be available, or they don't want to pay the extra charge to outfit the charging unit in the garage, right? I just think that they're given way, way too much credit for what I don't want one. Uh, I love my Tacoma. I love my Toyota Tacoma. My 2019 Tacoma is badass. It is badass. And if I was going to go and upgrade and just treat myself to an obnoxious luxury item, I would buy myself a Tundra TRD Pro, right? My extremely obnoxious idiotic, if I make idiotic money with the i2, is going to be a brand new white Corvette. That's what it's going to be. That's going to be the idiotic, stupid money. But I have zero motivation to go and buy a Tesla. And that's the thing, is people are like, you're wrong. You using metrics and Hyliion that are stupid, and you should just go buy Tesla, Ryan. I had a Twitter tweet come through tonight where it was like, I don't know why I buy any other stock except for Tesla. That type of mentality right there will get you absolutely annihilated over the long term. Annihilated. If you're looking at the action of a specific stock and making your decisions based on it, look at Kathy Wood right now. And I don't mean this to be rude. I don't mean this to impugn how smart she is, but she is absolutely getting annihilated, because where she was the queen of the night last year, she is getting absolutely destroyed this year. And her only comeback is, look, no problem. Teladoc will be great in 15 years. With all due respect, that is sometimes a scapegoat to say that, well, eventually they're going to realize their addressable market. And when you combine a whole basket of those very speculative stocks, it creates a recipe of some very, very, very dangerous returns. And she's taking it on the chin, no doubt about it. Those high growth are really rolling off. And it just speaks to how important it is to have that diversified portfolio. Very, very important. All right. Amazon took advantage or opportunity to write off Rivian. That's right. Amazon was a buy today. Should have picked it up. I should have bought a little bit. I own 4 shares of it. I'm good. I have no problem with taking Amazon and whatever downturn it has to dole out. I'm totally fine, guys. Totally fine. And so are you. You want to come into the live stream and wait for it, and I provide you that validation to let you know that you're fine too. You are fine. Here's your wake up call. This entire bubble is heading lower. Yeah, I guess. I don't really know where people get off, honestly. People have been saying this for 12 years, and you may trip and fall on your face and be right. Um, Good on you. It doesn't mean you're right, my friend. It means you're lucky. And that type of propaganda to throw out to people, what are people supposed to do? What would you suggest? Okay, the market's going lower. Market goes lower, I'm buying more. So what would you suggest to people if this is your wake up call? That sounds like a YouTube video, Ron. What I would do is start yourself a YouTube channel, because it sounds like you would be a phenomenal propaganda. You'd have rogues of sheep following you around, absolutely, to come in and find out where the stock guru Ron feels like the stock market is going. Absolutely. So it's by very nature of the fact that I do not buy into propaganda like this. And it's interesting too. This is how people talk, man. They want to drop their knowledge and their ability to use tarot cards to understand what they're doing. And they may feel like that they're really good with the tarot cards and the magic ball as well to come on and drop a comment like this and then leave. I'm out. And it's funny to me. I'm here to tell you, man, none of that stuff exists. If you want to enter into financial markets, you can enter into financial markets in a lot of different capacities. Okay, but broad statements like that will probably find you in a place of financial ruin down the line. Okay, me, I'll be fine. You could take all my portfolio tomorrow, and I would be totally fine. Why? Because I have perspective up here. I really do. And all I'm looking to do is provide that little bit of hope to somebody out there who may be able to relate with me. I've never made over $100,000 in my life. Never, never. And for the majority of my 30s up to my 40s, I made under $50,000 on a single income. A lot of you guys and a lot of people out there have made double income households. They've got to have two cars in the driveway, maybe three. They've got to have the over too expensive of a car. They've got to have everything under the sun, and they don't have an investment portfolio. Okay. They're living the lifestyle of luxury, and they're doing it at the expense of perspective, number one. Number two, putting some money away as a token or a pledge to themselves that they don't need all that shit that they buy. They don't. So those comments are interesting to me when they come on and they're dropped in the thread. No problem. If you don't want to be an investor, don't. It's no problem. But I am an absolute success story when I come on and I talk about my application. I've just said that over the last 6 months, I've done nothing except for fund my accounts. Fund it. That's it. I've dollar cost averaged my accounts ever since I was very, very young. Some of the mistakes that I've done about selling out of the market have really just been those spurts and sputters in the market where I got involved with financial planning, with mutual funds, and they just weren't very good. Okay. If you want to passively invest in the markets, you can do so at a very, very low cost. And coupled with the strength of tax protecting your money, the product itself kind of takes a backseat a little bit. And you start to wake up and you're like, what? Wow, Ryan just talked about the VOO, which I streamline a ton right to that product because at a 0.03 expense ratio, you're buying the S&P 500 at anemic cost, anemic. Put it in a tax deferred vehicle like a Roth IRA, put yourself to a decision down the line at 59 and a half. That scenario right there has been tried and true to win, to win. And it is absolutely contrary to wake up like I'm sleeping, like I don't pay attention, like I don't work hard, like I don't support a family, like I don't live a healthy lifestyle, like I don't do everything I can do to keep vices away from myself, to protect my family, right? To be a good father, like I don't do, like I need to wake up to some premonition of some tarot card reader and somehow do a Florida right in my program that's been proven to work, right? So here's the difference between me and you. And I hope that you can look in the mirror and say this: I don't follow anybody. I don't follow anybody. And I've just, as of late, really done away with caring so much about what people who seemingly have all the answers for everybody else think. Honestly, I don't care. You could be right. You could be right. Market could go down. Amazon missing on the bottom line could mean the end of Amazon as we know it, right? I just ordered $1,850 worth of stuff for my channel through Amazon Business tonight because it's my online vendor of choice. I love it. And I'm not the only one in the world who loves it. You go to brick and mortar anymore. When was the last time you guys were at the mall and were disappointed, right? Waste of time. Waste of time. You're going to end up standing behind somebody in line that's almost ready to go to fisticuffs with the counter. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? This ain't even worth it, man. I can jump onto Amazon and get exactly what I want, and there's a hell of a lot better chance of it actually being online than me coming in here and finding a needle in a haystack of something that I actually need and get lucky, right? I've wasted my time, I've wasted my gas, I've wasted my entire day to come and look for something that I may either find or not find. I'd rather just take 5 minutes in a search on Amazon and find out what it is that I need. All right. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. All right. This attitude will never go away, too, man. That's why you need guys like myself. You need people like me. You do. Who, once I shut this down, I would expect and I would implore you guys to do the exact same thing, man. Do something with your night. Go do some adult activity. All right. That's on my agenda tonight. All right. It's really one of my sole motivators in life, to be honest with you. Very simple. Very simple. I am, rest assured, through and through, um, full-blooded man, full-blooded. Okay, very, very simple to make me happy. Very, very simple. Okay? My obligation is very, very simple. Stay healthy, keep the family safe, keep them supported, give them what they need, teach them the life lessons. Very, very simple in my household, man, and not ever, ever scoff at the opportunity that you've been provided, guys. I talk about this on occasion on the channel, talk about where I came from and how hard I've had to work. And I was never given anything. And, you know, if I had it to do over again and I was given along the way, I would have never, ever been able to understand what I understand now based on the road that I've had to travel up to this point about appreciating things and understanding what it takes to persevere past hard times. Because most people, when they're used to being given, they're used to being given all the time, right? When they're not given, it's a shock to the system and they shut down. They shut down. They don't fight. Like me, I'm a fighter, right? Like me, you come in and drop a comment like that, I'm going to fight. It's that simple. It's an idiotic comment, and it does not apply to what should apply to the masses in reality. Okay, I just think you watch too much TV, to be honest with you, man. Be honest with you. If the world does go to hell in a handbasket, I'd like to come and hang out with you in your prepper bunker. That'd be nice of you if you could maybe throw a ration my way. That'd be awful nice. Just from a humanitarian perspective, you'll be like, you chewed me up on your live stream, man. Get the hell out of here, man. I'm gonna stay in here with my can of pinto beans and survive, man. That's what I've done my whole life. I'm a survivor. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I live with hope. I live on heart. I live on perseverance and goodwill. I do love people. There's one motivational speaker, man. He gets to me every time. He seems angry. He's just like, I hate people. It's like that was what I used to get ahead. I don't hate people. I love people. I just seemingly have an interest in those people who always want to make everybody else's business their own. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Deploy a different strategy. Maybe start to focus on what it is that you do with your day. I don't know. I think if you allowed me to observe what it is that you do with your day all day, I think you would allow me to retort and scrutinize what it is that you do, my friend. Yep. If you don't have the ability to do it yourself, then stop barking up my tree. All right. It's the glass house, brother. It's the glass house, man. Yep. You barking up the wrong tree with me. That's for show. That's for show. Watch Billions or Succession or Startup. Financial Foundations. That's a really cool thumbnail. It sounds like you've got a YouTube channel. You probably have 100,000 subscribers with that. That's awesome. F squared. I like it. Very cool. Welcome to the message. I appreciate you stopping by. James Palmer's in the house. The world needs to calm the F. Everybody's angry. No, it seems like everybody's angry. I have to go to the supermarket anymore, and I gotta shut people out because people are staring at you and they're ready for you to stare back at them. And they're, what do you want? and they're all angry and stuff. Hell, I'm happy all the time, man. I think they're pissed off at me because I'm happy. That's the problem. You got to be pissed off like me too, man. I'm angry. You got to be angry too. I'm going to get you angry. Here, I'm going to throw this head of broccoli at you and hit you in the face, man. You got to get on my wavelength here. Telling my kids that at 50, I'm learning to apply a life value. Yeah, absolutely, man. That's what life's all about, man. I live for them anyway. I don't live for me. It's all good. It's all good. I come on and I endure the scrutiny of social media. It's just lovely, right? It was funny. Life's way too short to waste on the negativity. I don't know. I know what real struggle is. Yeah. And so this isn't struggle. Going through volatility in the stock market is not struggle. All right. Toughen up a little bit. All right. When you don't have money to buy food or clothing, and you are a complete disaster, and you have no relationship, for me, I have no woman. I've been happily married 17 years to a goddess. I'm good. You take your portfolio's going to nothing. Really? I'll still be stuck with a supermodel wife. Jesus. If you have the means, I highly recommend it. Jeez Louise, man. What is your definition of success? I went on and I spit venom to 6 YouTubers tonight. Honey, I'm making a difference in the world. Yeah, you are. Good for you. Good for you with that negativity. You go, boy. You go. Only main indicator at this point is Powell next week. Yep. Um, yeah, I think raising rates is what needs to happen. I've been saying this for years and years and years. This negative, I've profited from it. I didn't fight the Fed. I profited from it, but markets need to normalize. Financial markets have been in a financials, excuse me, sector has been in an absolute swoon. It's driven down valuations below 10 forward earnings on most of the big banks anyway, and it's going to be bullish for them, no doubt. I'm still going to buy the crap I need, right? I'm still going to pay a premium for that stuff, whether or not, it's $2.62 or $3.78. And I don't pay attention to the dollars and cents that I pump into my freaking truck. I don't. I'm like, I'm going to put 3/4 in my tank. No, my time is valuable. I timed it the other day. I thought, I wonder how much time people spend it with the Tesla charging their vehicle. I timed it, how long it took for me to go from bone dry empty to full. 2 minutes. 2 minutes in my Tacoma. And let me tell you, I didn't stop and be like, I just need 3/4. I gotta throttle back a little bit this month. You know what I mean? No, no, no. And those people, the same ones bitching about the high gas prices. I could care less. I could care less. I don't know. Come talk to me when it's above $10 a gallon. I don't know. I still got to put it in my rig. I still got to get back and forth to work, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. But of course, it's just, come on, man. It's all good. Have a little fun with this, man. Juan Bentoncourt is having fun with me. That's great. It's awesome. This is not as bad as you think that it is, and this is the key, is the balanced life. This is the first time we broke 100 in the Independent Investor Channel live stream. I don't know if it's because financial markets are in the crapper and you come in here for a little bit of motivation, but I'd like to welcome everybody. Yeah, it's pumping up a little bit, man. I could invite you to hit the thumbs up button. I really don't care. So if you don't want to, don't do it. Hell, hit the thumbs down button. I don't really care. I'm one of those unique YouTube Dellers that really just, I don't really care. The words that I speak, if you do listen, you'll probably come out with it with a lot more of a neutral perspective. And again, I'm not trying to sell you propaganda here. I just, look, I take a perspective. Could I be wrong? Could I be wrong? By going long on the market, I guess. Sure, sure. I'll figure out something else to make it. There's no doubt about it. Successful people, man, you cannot hold them down. You can't hold them down. It's just that simple. Anthony Wireman's in the house. Ron pulls wool for sure. Yes, the sheep video. It was just perfect timing. I didn't mean to embarrass him. I kind of did actually, because it was like, here's my opinion, and I'm leaving right now before you can even comment. And I did. I spent 15 minutes ragging that one through the coals. That's for sure. I was a champion speech and debater in college. You don't want to do that to me. That's why I invite people on, man. They can come rap with me on the live stream if they want to. Nobody ever takes me up on it. Hell, I'll have a few drinks before if that'll make you feel better. Probably even the playing field a little bit, give you a fighting chance to come on and prove to me that I should sell everything right now. And I would just be so much better off by doing that. What it is the people tell me what it is that I need to do with my program. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I'm telling you what you need to do. You need to get your ass in the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, well, Ryan. Yeah, I don't know. We can't do that. I don't know. You know, that's awful early, man. I like to sleep. I like to sleep in on the weekend. Do you? Okay, that sounds like a nice cliche that you bought into. Yeah, right on. What do you believe? No, no. What it is? What do you believe? I don't know, Ryan. I'm waiting for you to tell me what I should believe about what I should do with what I should do with what I do. And therein lies the problem. Well, I wouldn't buy a Tundra. It's a gas guzzler. It is. That's why I said it's a gas. It's a. It's really uneconomical. There's no doubt about it. But I like them. They're cool. Great live stream. It's a luxury. It's in the automobile category. Remember, it's on the bottom tier of the hierarchy of needs. All right. A broken clock will be right twice a day. Absolutely. Jamie's in the house. I can see you in a 20. So can I. I've seen it many, many times, Everclear boy. But I tell you what, we need to get highly on above $3 a share if I'm ever going to have said Corvette. All right. Go ahead and email Thomas Healy and see if he can come on front. No, I'm so over that. It's so funny. It's people think I care more than what I do, and I don't. I do not. I'll continue to have people pay me for an interview. Jesus. Jesus. I could care less. I could just care less, man. Oh man, I didn't even see that. Oh, I should just this is great, Ron. Thank you for coming on and talking about it. Are you Pikers serious? Give your stock picks then, man. And yeah, I didn't tell you I YOLO'd my entire portfolio into this $500,000, and yeah, I'm definitely a piker. I don't even know what that means, man, but yeah, it's great that this defines for me the spectrum of idiocracy that I speak about. Otherwise, I wouldn't do the independent investor channel if everybody was on my wavelength. Oh man, it's so awesome. Oh yeah, he's really having a blast in here. I'm just now reviewing the comments. This is awesome. Social media opinions only matter if you let them. Yeah, no, I should block them out, but I have fun with it anyway. Um, it's amazing to me. All right, cruising through here. Can you make a Nicola Bash video? Probably. Yeah, I absolutely could. Yeah, they're developing a bunch of trucks that they don't have fuel for. I don't know. That's what I see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. We will see who's wrong in the end. Anyway, we want to help you guys. We're starting to roll off. People getting tired. People need a shot. Absolutely. Where is the piker? Absolutely. That was a lot of fun tonight. He pulled out the sheep. I haven't had the sheep out for like, gosh, 5, 6 months anyway. So thank you to that. That was great for bringing them out of the far pasture and bringing them back into the independent investor channel to drive my point home. Don't be a group thinker. Be a thinker on your feet. If you're going to make a mistake with Hyliion or anything else, do it because you've chosen to do so, not because you've sought out and been influenced by social media or anybody else in the grander media. It drives me up the wall, man. Think for yourself. Remember? All right. We will be back next week. on the Independent Investor Channel live stream. Really appreciate you guys. This was a hell of a live stream. A lot of people in here concerned about financial markets. Don't be. It's all good. It may go down. It may go up next week. I don't know. According to Ron, it's going to zero. There is always that possibility, I guess, albeit very, very rare possibility of everything going to zero. But like I said, you can do all kinds of cool stuff to buffer that. And like I said, if I lose all my money, at least I'm married to a babe. Guys, take it easy. I appreciate you joining me. We'll catch you back next Friday on the Independent Investor Channel. Fastest 60 minutes on YouTube.